Hi guys, this is Nikki Rowland for Hip Kit Club, and today I am making a layout using the December kit still, and my assignment today was to use the December main kit only, so I've literally touched nothing from any of the other kits, and I also had to use hexagons. So hexagons really are not my favourite shape. I don't mind. I just don't like them in a honeycomb fashion, I suppose. But this little technique, which has been popular over Christmas, is beautiful, and I'm really so happy that this is my assignment today because I really love the layout that I've created with it. I've used a hexagon punch. I've got one in my stash from many years ago. And from when the first time they were in fashion, I have punched 6 hexagons out of one of the snowflake pattern papers by Create Paper that was in the December kit. And then all I'm doing is I'm folding up 2 of the points. So I'm picking one point for the middle, and then I'm folding up the other 2. You can create this really, if you do 6 of them, you create these really beautiful little snowflakes, little kind of tea bag folding or origami. So I thought I would make a whole bunch of these. So I have done quite a few. I think I've done 7 in total, you saw how I made them there with the little hexagons, I then just punched another hexagon for the base and stuck the folded hexagons to it. So I made these little stars, effectively stars or snowflakes, however you want to describe them. So that's going to be the basis for my layout, I'm going to arrange those onto the background, and I also want some of these beautiful snowflakes from one of the Create Paper snowflake papers. So I'm going to spend some time fussy cutting these out. I won't make you watch me do it. It was like 12 minutes or something on the video, so I've cut that out. There you go. They're all fussy cut now, I decided to use that piece of Pretty Little Studio glitter and ice paper. Now I really love that paper, but I think it had, what did it have on the back? It had the pink plaid, which was my even greater favourite. I've used that quite a bit. I've used the outline of it, and I've used a whole sheet of it for 2 other layouts. So on this one I thought I'd better try and use the other side, which is really, really beautiful, but I just love the pink plaid so much that I haven't really focused on this side at all. But I had this large piece left over, and I thought it would be nice to kind of split my layout in half, it wasn't a full 12-inch piece, it was only like 10 inches I think. So I thought I would split it in half and stick it onto one side of the background. There's that beautiful pink plaid pattern, it's so lovely. So I've just kept that over on the left hand side of my layout, and it's going to give me a focal point for my photo to go, online. Gives me a great place to put my photo, and then I can arrange my other little snowflake clusters around the photo and around that paper. So it just brings in a bit of the pattern without it being overwhelming or a full sheet, which I don't seem to get on that well with. So a small amount or a large amount but not a full sheet of the pattern paper seems to be working well for me at the moment. Yeah, I'm just working out what I'm going to do next. I thought I might use a bit of this paper here. I've kept the frame so I can use it to mount another layout at some point, but oh, sorry about the camera shake. I've got my trimmer on top of my stand that holds my camera, so every time I trim something the camera shakes. Whoops. I was at a crop and space was tight. I just pulled a bit of that paper from the middle of a separate sheet. I've already cut something from the middle of it, I have just trimmed out the rest of the middle that's the remaining, and used that as a mount on my photo. So that's literally all I've done with my photo, is put one piece of paper around it. Normally I would use a pocket life card, but I'm not allowed to use those today because it's a main kit only layout, so I have been true to that and not used them. So I had to find some pattern paper to mount my photo with. So now I'm pretty happy with how my snowflakes are looking on the page. I had one overhanging the edge, so I've just trimmed off the excess piece there, and I'm now just kind of working out my title. So I'm going to go for the words bundled up. They are on the crepe paper sticker sheet that's the puffy phrase stickers. So I'm just using those as my title, and I've got that at the bottom of my photo, kind of going over the corner a little bit and touching one of the snowflakes that I made. And I thought I'd bring in some of the other snowflakes on this sticker sheet too. So there's such a pretty colour. It's not quite gold. It's more of a, I don't know how to describe it, a dirty gold? Somewhere in between copper and gold colour. It's not like a rose gold, I don't think. Anyway, I don't know the technical term. If anyone knows it, perhaps you could list it below. But it's a really lovely, pretty colour, and I thought I would try to introduce more of that into the layout. So I've pulled out a few snowflakes, but there's also some frond branches and some stars, so I thought I would use those as well. The layout obviously is kind of wintry, snowy, so anything like that works well. So I hardly had any of my main kit left, so it does show you what you can do with not much. I had papers and the vellum, but I didn't have much of the ephemera left over. I'd used almost all of it. I got carried away earlier in the month. I had this kit early, so because I had it so early, I've made about 6 or 7 layouts with it instead of my usual 5, or 4 or 5. So yeah, I've really had to stretch it here. So I've used a lot of the ephemera, and I had some of the other ephemera left over, but of course that's not from the main kit, so I didn't use that today. So I was just kind of, I wanted to get that fox on. He was super cute. I wasn't happy where that snowflake was at the top left of my photo. I felt that it was just a bit too far away from the photo, so I've just brought that down a bit, and I'm creating a cluster on the corner. I say, and adding, I had only very few vellum stars left over as well. They are in this December main kit only, and I had a few of those remaining, again hardly any, so I've just tucked in those where I can, or where I've got them and where they work in terms of the colours. Yeah, I just brought that snowflake, the vellum snowflake from the bottom. I just moved that over a little bit because again it was a bit too far away. It was over to the right too much, so I've just moved that over. And now I'm just concentrating on getting everything stuck down. All the ephemera that I did use, so mostly just snowflakes, I am tucking in and sticking down. I'm using foam pads for most, and just say making sure that I get everything stuck in place so that when I pick up the layout later, nothing falls off. I tried really hard to get those mittens in, but that just wasn't really working. So I put those to one side, I think because they were too pink. So I've tried to concentrate on the yellowish colour that's in this kit, because I have quite a bit of that yellow colour left, and not a lot else. So I thought I'd try to bring that in a bit. So the fox, he's so cute. He's that colour, so he went on there. And then there's a vellum snowflake or star, I think, in that colour, an arrow. One of the big snowflakes made with the hexagons is also in that colour. It was the Heidi Swap paper with the grey circles on one side, and the other side is multicoloured, but I just made sure that where I punched from that paper, I made sure that I picked up the yellow parts, deliberately, so that I would have some yellow showing through onto the layout. And then a vellum star I've just put into that middle cluster as well. And then I'm going around with these really, really beautiful gems or crystals by Prima. They're called Say It in Crystals, and they are these really beautiful kind of faceted enamel dots. They're glittery, some are kind of sparkly see-through, some are a flat colour, and they're so pretty. They had pinks and greys and yellows, and I've only got the yellow ones left, and I thought I would try to use those up on this layout, because obviously I've got that colour, I brought that colour into this layout, so it makes sense to do so. So I've been generous with those and got those all over the layout. So yep, just at the moment just still fiddling around, trying to get things finalized. I'm nearly there, haven't got much more to do, and so I'm just playing around with my crystals and placement. Normally I would stick to just 3 clusters on a layout. Well, on this one I have 4, so therefore I just had to make sure I was happy with how it was all looking, and to make sure that the layout was balanced, because say it didn't have my usual 3, I went a bit nuts and went for 4. I don't know what happened there. Normally I would stick to 3 pretty rigidly, but no, I went for 4 this time, slightly unusual. I tried to get that cute little cat in from the ephemera, but no, wasn't to be. She didn't fit, she didn't work, she was the wrong colour, but she was so cute. And as this layout has my little girl on, who I think is very cute, then anything cute goes. Okay, so I have a little label sticker or ephemera that I'm trying to get in. I was going to put it above the photo or have it sticking out from the photo, but in the end I decided to tuck it under the pattern paper. And bundled up doesn't really tell the story. So we were actually watching fireworks, and it was a really horrible, cold, wet day. It was a really miserable day, but me and my daughter really wanted to go and see the fireworks. We normally see them every year, but it was just such a wet day. It was absolutely pouring down, and everything was soggy and horrible, and in the end we decided not to go. But right at the last minute, me and Sophie were like, should we go on our own? So me and Sophie snuck out, left the boys at home on their own, and we went and watched the fireworks in the rain. So I wanted to have a nod to the fireworks on my layout. Rather than just writing something like fireworks night, I thought I would go for bang, bang, bang. And I've added those to 3 of the clusters. So the top left one above the photo doesn't get a word, but the other 3 do. So bang, bang, bang. Now I didn't have any A's left, not enough anyway, on my thickers, the black thickers. So I got creative and used the lowercase d's and chopped off the ascenders, so they made really good A's. They're not the same style as the original A's that's on there, but they look like A's, so I'm good with that. That's fine. So I'm just handwriting in my journaling. I've gone for a black journaling pen this time in a really tiny nib, so 0.1, so I could write really small, and just about fitted my journaling in underneath the photo. I wanted to bring this in as a design feature on the layout, because I felt that the underneath the photo was a little bit sparse, that's the word I was looking for, and I needed to make it a bit more obvious, so I underlined it as well. Okay, so that's me done. Thank you very much for joining me today. That was Nikki Rowland for Hip Kit Club.